In today's short, what I want to talk about is the concept of sacrifice in relation to positive impact and how that is for me part of what I'd call the old paradigm and how we need to shift paradigm in relation to that. How that's come up is that I've been hearing a lot how many people who are working in the sustainability field and trying to bring change, how they are getting burnt out. Because this whole process it's not a sprint, it's definitely a marathon, and it's a hardcore marathon, maybe even a triathlon. So one of the things is that we have to last the course. And what happens is in order to bring change on an ongoing basis takes a lot of energy. Like just being in the midst of change requires energy, but if we're the ones who are trying to bring change and constantly holding the space for others to navigate the emotional journey, emotional experience they need to go through in order to be able to embrace change, what happens is it takes a lot of energy. And what happens is that often we forget that. We forget that we're going to have to build our energy consciously. We can't just be kind of haphazard about it if we want to be these effective agents of change. But in parallel, as I was speaking about with one of my clients recently, what we also have in the positive impact sector is a chronic issue around sacrifice. So there's this whole thing around, okay, I want to have a positive impact, but in order to have a positive impact, I need to do that in sacrifice. So I can't earn the money that I want, I can't really take care of myself the way I really should, and I feel guilty if I do. I can't really do joy. It's like we have this idea that we have to do positive impact, but literally sacrificing our well-being, sacrificing our joy, and it's ultimately kind of quite connected to suffering. And the thing with that is if we're in that sacrifice mode, then we are almost guaranteed that we will burn out. Because we're not doing enough to put kind of energy back into the machine that we are and making sure that we give ourselves what we need, not just to survive the experience, but also to contribute meaningfully and ultimately to shift things. And one of the reasons that it's really important to dig deeper into this is that there's different reasons, so bear with me. So one of them is if you burn out, well, that's not any use to anybody. That's the first piece. You just won't be able to do your job. The second piece is if you're uninspired and just struggling in the process, well, you're not going to be able to inspire anybody to a new level of transformation. So there's a whole piece here around you need to take care of yourself so that you can stay energized and inspired to be able to be the leader that you need to be. So as a result, you can inspire others to that new level. And the third piece is ultimately, what are we trying to do here? We're trying to create something that is sustainable, but ultimately where we all flourish and we bring flourishing to the planet. And you can't do that from a place of burnout. So how are you going to bring sustainability and flourishing if you're just completely burning out and actually not giving yourself what you need? Because at the core of the paradigm shift that we are making is this idea of really looking at what is it that we really need? What is it that I really need in order to sustain, to thrive, to flourish? But as human beings on this planet, what is it that we actually need to feel fulfilled, to have meaning, to feel that ultimately we're living the life that we're really here to live, and that it feels genuinely good inside? Because the reality, even the system that we've built, and here I'm talking about ultimately kind of the North, where we do have most of the things that we need and that we want to a greater extent. Well, we're still experiencing the highest records of burnout, of depression. So even with the quantity of things that is available to us, we're not getting our real needs met. And so as change agents, we come about and we come around and we don't even stop to look at, well, what is it that we need and how do we start by thriving and flourishing within the context of the change that we want to bring. We're just simply not on the right wavelength to be able to create that around us for others and for the world generally. And on top of that, it's going to be, and as I said, there's the bit about inspiration, but ultimately, how are we going to engage others in wanting to have a positive impact if all we describe is a life of pure sacrifice, where actually we suffer and we burn out? That's just not going to cut it. What we're here to do is to model true flourishing first. And from there, actually build a new economy that shows what it means to integrate personal flourishing, prosperity, and positive impact. How can we have all of those together? And that is the new world that we're being called to. But it all starts with that willingness to actually start having a positive impact, but based on the foundation of our own flourishing. To really give ourselves what we need at all different levels, so that we are modeling, not just kind of cajoling or guilt-tripping others into making a positive impact, kind of guiding them down a road that actually, who really wants to do suffering? And, I'm really clear, yes, if we don't make the change, we're going to suffer a lot more. But here it's about understanding that we're here to show what the new model actually looks like and what it means to live it. Not just to guilt trip everybody around us to actually try and change, but actually not really fully owning the vision that we're calling others to and living it. Not just in the choices that we made around sustainability in terms of things, but in terms of the sustainability in terms of us. So, I want you to start thinking about what would it mean for you to truly flourish? What does that look like, sound like, feel like? And if you were truly flourishing, then what would be the difference, the positive impact that you would choose to make from that place?